Welcome to another video. Today will be the final hero for this week. I believe we're once again wrapping up week number 5. But anyway, yeah, this will be the hero number 6 for this week. And that hero is Destruction Droid. So again, kind of very similar to Warrior Woman. The Destruction Droid was another one of these where the name came first. And, it was like I had to kind of dream something up for the name. And initially, I think I had this hero technically as a bad guy. But as I was kind of redeveloping his backstory and his powers and abilities, I decided to make him a hero. As you can see, kind of with this initial doodle that I've done, very heavily inspired by Jack Kirby's, what's the word I want to use here? Iterations, or the way that he drew machinery and robotics. And so, he, throughout his career, he was very notorious for drawing these very complex machines and contraptions. When he would draw the Fantastic Four comic books, he would really do some pretty elaborate designs. And, this kind of followed over to a comic book line he did in the 70s called The Eternals. And in that comic, he had developed kind of these space gods, is what he called them, and they were called Celestials. And they kind of came across as just giant robots. And I kind of took a lot of inspiration when designing this particular character. But as you can see here, this is the original doodle done, nearly 10 years ago. So some of it was more of just a refinement. You'll see a lot of similarities and stuff when you look at the redesign that I've done. But let's go ahead and get into the redesign here. So again, I wanted to really kind of keep and encapsulate a lot of what I had done originally. I wanted to add a little bit more to him, but I was kind of really falling in love with kind of just the original design and how simple a lot of it was. And so, I wanted to keep him, obviously the focal points, in and around the head area and stuff like that, and just keep it overly simple that, this character wouldn't be something that, you had to look at a lot of stuff just to get, the full character's concept and stuff. And so, as you can see, I got rid of a lot of like the over designing that I had in the legs and then in the chest, and kind of just kept it up kind of towards the head and in the arms, in essence. And so, but yeah. And again, I took a lot of inspiration from one of the celestial characters that Jack Kirby did for his Eternals comic, and it was called Nazar the Calculator. I really liked kind of the colors and stuff, a darker blue, maybe hinging a little even on the black side. And then I took kind of that magenta red look just to kind of help accentuate the whole idea of a destruction droid kind of a look. But anyway, so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at his final, sorry about that, his final look and design here. So yeah, this was kind of the final look and feel that I wanted for the character. So once again, keeping the overall color kind of muted, and a lot of his design is as a result of just the energy and stuff that he emits. And I wanted it to be kind of a harsher color, so I choose a little more on the red spectrum, but I also wanted it to feel kind of energetic and energized, and so I gave it kind of the little bit of the phosphorescent or neon kind of feel, so I went with more of a magenta look. But as you can see, very similar to the design that I originally conceptualized, many years ago. But yeah. This is the Destruction Droid, so let's go ahead and get into his backstory and powers and abilities. So, Destruction Droid. Aboard the Space Surveyor's ship, the same vessel the Hydrogen Hero spent millennia sabotaging, the hero unintentionally created another ally, the Destruction Droid. Originally built as part of the ship's defense force, the droid's AI gradually rewrote itself after centuries of exposure to hydrogen heroes' tampering. Realizing the contradictions and the cruelty in the surveyor's mission, the droid began secretly assisting the hydrogen hero in undermining the ship's conquests. Its natural ability to interface with the vessel made their sabotage appear as mere anomalies, until these accidents drew the surveyor's suspicion. This forced the hydrogen hero to initiate his final plan, detonating thousands of antimatter bombs hidden throughout the ship. During the destruction droid was separated from hydrogen hero, left drifting in the spaces, in the debris of the ship. Using scavenged parts, the droid built its own transport and set out across the galaxy, seeking worlds in need of protection from cosmic threats. So once again, the destruction droid was kind of a hero built as a result of the hydrogen hero, the hero that we covered at the beginning of the week. As a result of him kind of tampering with the ship, the ship's AI kind of grew, in essence, self-aware of what it was doing and realized some of the the contradictions and cruelty and stuff like that this space surveyor villain was doing, and so it in essence helped hydrogen hero, and unwittingly, unbeknownst to the hydrogen hero, he didn't know about this destruction droid, so he just felt like, oh, I'm going to get caught, and so let's just detonate the ship. So he detonated the ship, but the destruction droid was kind of left adrift, and while in the midst of the drifting debris, he was able to, in essence, construct himself a transport system or a ship that he was able then to traverse the galaxy. So his real name nobody really knows, and he probably doesn't have one, but he stands about 7 feet tall and weighs over a couple pounds over 1,000 pounds. So he's a pretty heavy guy, pretty big guy. So, but his abilities and powers. As part of the Space Surveyor's ship defense force, the destruction droid was outfitted with advanced technologies gathered from across the universe. Technologies that far surpass anything created even by the most ancient civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy. So again, the Space Surveyor had traversed the universe, gathering weapons, intelligences, and technologies that even surpassed the ancient civilizations here in the Milky Way galaxy. So the destruction droid possessed many abilities, but some of the most notable included the capacity to seamlessly interface with computers and technology. He also has superhuman strength, capable of lifting over 200 tons, and an extremely durable exoskeleton that is, by human standards, nearly indestructible. He also carries numerous internal weapons, one of the most devastating being an antimatter ray capable of decimating large sections of a planet's surface. While under the tutelage of the hydrogen hero, the destruction droid also developed a refined set of combat analysis protocols, allowing him to quickly identify and exploit weaknesses in enemies. So eventually, he was found by the hydrogen hero and, was tuteled or trained by this, by hydrogen hero to be, a great warrior in essence. So looking at his power stats, again, he's pretty dang strong, being able to lift, nearly 200 tons. He's not super powerful when it comes to strength, but he does, he can hold his own. His durability is exceptionally high, though, as a result of his exoskeleton being developed from unknown technologies from around the universe, as well as unknown alloys of metals. So, and due to the fact that he is a robot, he does have extreme stamina, allowing him to, fight or perform feats for, extremely long periods of time. So. And then also, as earlier mentioned, he has internal weaponry as well as the ability to emit powerful beams of antimatter rays that can decimate large areas of planets. And so once again, his power projection is exceptionally high, once again, giving him the name Destruction Droid. And then due to the fact that he is an AI technology, he is exceptionally intelligent, able to interface with computers as well as, create things and build things and all that kind of stuff. So he is definitely a huge asset to the Galactic Guardians. So, but yeah, kind of a full fold, or a full, what's the word I want to use? Yeah, I guess a conclusion to, the story that we started with, the Hydrogen Hero, in essence. So, both of these characters kind of were similar in their origin stories and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we'll conclude this week with the Destruction Droid. So thanks for tuning in, and we hope to catch you next week. Thanks again.